What is going on, guys? Mitch Sens here. In this video, I wanted to cover or clear up some misconceptions regarding step-ons. I have been exclusively riding step-ons for the last 4 years in the backcountry and on resort. Wanted to go over what I have in my quiver currently. Behind me, this is my Jones flagship, and I have the Burton Step-On Reflex X bindings, the carbon integrated, stiffer, more responsive, and lightweight bindings. And before that, I had the Reflex bindings. My original boots were the Burton Step-On Photons, but I upgraded to the Ions, which I have here. These are higher quality and definitely the stiffest boot within the entire Step-On lineup. On this side, we have the Nitro Dark Seeds. Nitro is known for its comfort, so I wanted to give this boot a test. Unfortunately, this is a size too small for me, and I will be offloading these this summer. And on this side, we have my Jones Solution, my split board, and I do have the Burton Step-On split board bindings right here. I would say I am an aggressive rider. I like hard charging, big lines, dropping cliffs. So a lot of the boot and binding combinations are on the stiffer side. Before we dive into the misconceptions, it's important to understand how the Step-On system works, showcasing the Step-On splitboard binding. You'll hear 2 clicks on the back, which I'll do 1, 2, and then... And forgive me, I destroyed my hand, just had surgery a month ago, so it might take me a little bit. I haven't regained strength yet. One side and the other. It looks hard to do with your hands, but when you have the full weight of your foot and your body, it goes right in. Any sort of movement that the boot does, the binding is going to do. There's not going to be any heel lift from the boot out of the binding. Same with the toes. There's no loss in energy within the system. And I guess that brings me to my first point. I have had several people question me on the lift or even social media saying like, oh, I heard Step-Ons are unresponsive. I refute that claim. Step-Ons are the most responsive binding that I have ever tested. These claims likely come from the fact that people do not have well-fitting boots when they test them. So if you go somewhere to demo a boot, you're likely getting a boot that has been through 15 to 20 other individuals, is packed out, it's going to feel mushy, it's not going to feel responsive, and ultimately you're not going to have a good time riding it. I was in a situation where I had to demo boots for 2 days just because they were packed out and not well fitted to my foot. They felt so poor. One way to get around this is to contact the place that you're demoing from and see how old the boots are, how many people have tested them out. And with demos, they will have that information because if they want to sell them at the end of the season, they mark it down based on how many people have tested the boots. And I guess going along with that, if you wanted to test out a very new pair that hasn't been worn in or say packed out as much, go to a location or try to contact a store early season that is offering demos with relatively new inventory. Going back to, what happens when the boots pack out? And I do want to say all boots pack out over time. And what I mean by that is the liner softens up and you have a little more play within the shell. And with Step-Ons, this is more of an issue than traditional bindings because with straps, you can kind of just ratchet the whole boot down and kind of collapse the outer shell into the liner that's already packed out. But with these, the whole point of having the boot and binding system is that you need to have a well-fitting boot all the time. So when they do pack out, I recommend getting either custom footbeds, which is probably the best way to go, or what I did, which is also a cheaper option, is you get shims. So these are antifungal, non-compressible shims that go in between your liner and the sole of your boot. And these are adhesive tongue shims. And you basically put this and adhere it to the inside of the shell. And that snugs the boot up in this upper region, and this snugs your boot up by lifting everything up in the lower section. And with custom footbeds, you will get a more comfortable and tailor fit for your boot. Let's go ahead and talk about the next misconception, is that, these don't work well in powder. If you have seen my videos, you can tell that these work extremely well in powder. Even when I have to, say, do a little hiking, take the board, hike a little bit, and then re-click back in, I'd rather be in very light, fluffy powder because that's super easy to just swipe right out of the bindings. The issue comes from ice buildup. I would say that this is an issue not only with step-ons, but also traditional bindings. It's kind of like a scapegoat where people are like, oh, I don't want to use those because if they get ice buildup, you're not able to click in. If you ever get to the point where there is ice buildup, I have this tool right here. It's actually meant for the split board. So when you're in split mode walking up the mountain and then you want to put it back together, this is meant for scraping in between the two portions of the board so you can merge it back together. But I frequently use this at the bottom of the bindings of snow. And it has a little pick here so you can pick and do what you need to do. Super easy. And one of the last things that I hear frequently, oh, the bindings aren't durable, like the toe clips break. So this is the newer model that Burton has. It has removable toe clips. So these are meant to be replaced. The old system, instead of this, the toe clip, it was actually the entire structure of the binding. So I used to have the 2020 Reflex that didn't have these toe clips, and I was more concerned with not being able to come out of my board, say when I'm tomahawking or I crash or have an impact with something. Having this as a fail-safe, very cheap component to replace rather than your whole binding is a step in the right direction. I would almost associate this with fellow mountain bikers, as you know, like a derailleur hanger. Like this is something that is meant to fail to save other components of your bike, aka your derailleur. And also, it works kind of in a similar way to how skiers have DINs on their bindings. I would much rather have that component break on the fall that I had rather than having my knee get twisted in directions that would not be favorable, let alone being out of commission for several months. I mean, I already know that with my hand. My season ended back in April. And again, if you're trying to argue this over traditional bindings, there are many more points of failure on traditional bindings. You have the entire ratchet system. You have the straps that go through the ratchets. You have bolts that go through these straps. So you can either blow bolts out, totally split a strap in half. The ratchets can bind up. Like there's so much more room for error in traditional bindings. I don't understand why like Flow rear entry bindings, Nidecker Supermatics, the phase system. I don't know why they're still so attached to straps. I would say that these step-ons are the pinnacle of step-on or step-in bindings, and not too many companies come close. I understand that there are other cons with this system, like you can't use a step-on boot with a traditional binding and vice versa. But that's just part of the system. Like I'm not going to be able to use snowboard boots and skis. It's an entirely different thing. A lot of companies are moving towards a step-on or easy in and out system. It's hard for me to see how they're reflected so negatively in the light when they perform so well for myself. And I know I only covered a few subjects, so if there's anything else that you have questions for, or you want me to do follow-up videos on, please let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. And as always, keep sending.